This morning. Get the issue of the day this and every weekday morning at 7:20 a.m. on Front Page. This morning. Morning radio the right way. Front Page is brought to you by ABC Electrical for a better choice in the electrical business. Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting. You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
5 o'clock.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Andrew Cannon. Coming up in the news for this Saturday, November 15, 2025, PNP makes urgent appeal to address garbage pileup across the country. NSWMA says over 700 truckloads of solid waste removed from the Catherine Hall and West Green areas of Montego Bay in St. James. Agricultural Protection Branch APB of the JCF arrested and charged 3 persons, including a woman, during an operation in porous Manchester on Friday. On the international scene, Trump rolls back tariffs on dozens of food products. And in sport, Spain on the verge of World Cup qualification after thrashing Georgia. The details after this.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
The opposition PNP is making an urgent call for local government and community development Minister Desmond McKenzie to immediately implement a clear plan and allocate the necessary financial resources to address the massive pile-up of domestic solid waste and debris across the island. Shadow Minister of Local Government Mrs. Natalie Nita Garvey says the mounting garbage represents a clear and present danger to the health of Jamaicans in every parish. She stressed that the backlog in domestic waste collection must be clearly distinguished from the post-Hurricane Melissa debris, which has created an entirely new layer of challenges. According to Mrs. Nita Garvey, despite the difficult working conditions in the aftermath of Melissa, the National Solid Waste Management Authority (NSWMA) must adopt more creative and effective strategies to keep the country clean and reduce escalating health risks. She said it is evident that collection schedules across all parishes have collapsed, with the domestic backlog now compounded by hurricane-related waste, creating an unprecedented island-wide crisis. As a result, according to her, many citizens have begun resorting to unsafe disposal practices. Meanwhile, Executive Director of the NSWMA, Oldie Gordon, is appealing for residents in Catherine Hall and West Green areas to be patient as the team actively works to complete the cleanup efforts.
The work will begin tonight. We are just waiting until the heavy traffic, and we can come in and start that work. Even as we begin this new phase in terms of the more refined approach, we still have to give thanks to the residents, big them up for their patience so far, and ask them for a little more. It's a little more. We are getting there. We are significantly way ahead of where we were a week ago. And we will not leave until we have completed the task. We owe this to you, and we are going to ensure that it's done.
Oldie Gordon, Executive Director of the NSWMA. Meanwhile, over 700 truckloads of solid waste were removed by the National Solid Waste Management Authority (NSWMA) from the Catherine Hall and West Green areas in Montego Bay, St. James. That's according to Works Minister Robert Morgan. He toured the areas on Friday.
This is a very important task that we are engaged in. The National Solid Waste Management Authority has removed over 700 truckloads of solid waste material from this community, and there's a lot more to be done. Mr. Wheatley and I have been assigned by the Prime Minister to work with the National Solid Waste Management and the municipality and the community to assist them in returning to normalcy.
Robert Morgan, Works Minister. He was accompanied by a minister without portfolio in the office of the Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Wheatley, Mayor of Montego Bay Council Richard Vernon, and Executive Director of the NSWMA, Oldie Gordon. Dr. Wheatley lamented that Hurricane Melissa brought floodwaters as high as 10 feet, destroying homes. He noted that the government will intensify its cleanup efforts in flood-affected communities in St. James over the next few days.
The first step is to ensure that we clean up this community and adjoining communities, to ensure that, from a public health perspective, that they are safer to go back into their homes. And so over the next couple of days, we will now step up the work that was started by the National Solid Waste Management Authority in doing the heavy lifting, getting out the debris, the old damaged furnitures. Now we are going into the crevices within the communities, the walkways, to remove the mud and the dirt, and then wash the walkways, help the persons to wash out their homes as well, as next step towards bringing back some semblance of normality to the residents of these two communities.
Dr. Andrew Wheatley, Minister without portfolio in the Office of the Prime Minister. Residents in Content, Manchester and surrounding areas are again being urged to exercise extreme caution as underground water continues to rise in the area. The caution comes amid viral videos showing people traveling to the area to document the rising water in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. The water has since spread to the neighbouring community of Harmon. Deputy Managing Director of the Water Resources Authority, WRA, Jeffrey Marshall, says water is likely to start flowing towards Porus.
We have confirmed reports of flood risings in Harmon. I'm unable to confirm precisely if we receive reports of water in Porus, but I wouldn't be surprised to hear that water might be springing up there and running down. So that would be expected. It will be a reflection of what we predicted as what happened in 2002, where the water is moving down gradients. So the water is coming underground from Content side and coming down towards Porus and Harmon, rising up and slowly flowing downwards towards the sea underground.
The Manchester Health Department is further urging Jamaicans not to drink, taste, swim or perform rituals in the water. The water may contain harmful bacteria, sewage and other pollutants. The Health Department says the water poses a serious risk of vector-borne and waterborne diseases. Mr. Marshall says residents should remain alert.
So persons should still be cautious, observe, and be ready to take any action that might be needed to mitigate their safety and their possessions against flooding if it happens in that region south of Porus and Harmon.
Jeffrey Marshall, Deputy Managing Director of the WRA. Operations at the U.S. Consular Agency in Montego Bay, Jamaica will remain suspended until the building and office are determined safe for public access and utilities have been restored. That's the word from the U.S. Embassy in Kingston following the passage of Hurricane Melissa. According to the message which was posted on the U.S. Embassy in Jamaica website on Friday, Hurricane Melissa caused significant damage to the city of Montego Bay. The message also notes that the building which contains the U.S. Consular Agency in Montego Bay, Jamaica, suffered storm damage and power loss. It was further highlighted that the U.S. Embassy in Kingston, Jamaica, and the U.S. Consular Agency in the Cayman Islands are open for routine and emergency consular services. The Jamaica Constabulary Force is reporting that lawmen assigned to the Agricultural Protection Branch, APB, arrested and charged 3 persons, including a woman, during an operation in Porus, Manchester on Friday. Charged are 43-year-old electrician Damien Ogilvie of Redbury, Porus, Manchester, 30-year-old bartender Chantal Thompson of Berrydale District, also in Manchester, and 27-year-old farmer Devoy Thompson of Bedworth District, Sanguinetti in Clarendon. Mr. Ogilvie has been charged with being armed with an offensive weapon. Ms. Thompson was charged for not having a food handler's permit and no spirit license, while Mr. Thompson was charged under the Agricultural Produce Act with failure to produce a Jamaica Agricultural Society JAS receipt. Reports from the Area 3 Agricultural Protection Branch team are during the operation between 12 p.m. and 5 p.m. the breaches were detected. Ogilvie was reportedly seen by the police acting in a manner that aroused their suspicion. He was stopped by the police and searched. A ratchet knife was retrieved from his waistband. Chantal, who operates a bar in Porus, Manchester, was visited by the lawmen and asked to produce the relevant documents. She was subsequently arrested and charged after she failed to do so. Meanwhile, Thompson was stopped in Williamsfield, Manchester by the police. A receipt to prove the legitimate purchase of a cow being transported was not produced when requested, and he was subsequently charged. Their court dates are being finalized. Ghazan Azan Sr. has died. The prominent businessman died Friday afternoon. He was 86. Azan Sr. is remembered as an industrialist prominent in the mercantile business in the 1970s through to the 80s. He owned and operated a number of manufacturing companies in Jamaica during the period in several parishes. Among them were Tiny Town Manufacturing, Cradlecraft Manufacturing, and Candy Cane Manufacturing. He was also a coffee farmer and a distinguished Freemason. He died after a long illness. Azan Sr. is the father of business mogul Ghazan Azan Jr., the founder, chairman, and CEO of Bashka Trading Company Limited and its parent company, Megamart Wholesale Club. To news now on the international scene, U.S. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order allowing a range of food products, including coffee, bananas, and beef, to escape his sweeping tariffs. The move comes as his administration faces mounting pressure over rising prices. While Trump previously downplayed concerns about the cost of living, he has focused on the issue since his Republican Party's poor performance in last week's elections. The dozens of products included on the White House list of exemptions, that should be the White House's list of exemptions, range from avocados and tomatoes to coconuts and mangoes. These goods, the Trump administration said on Friday, cannot be produced in sufficient quantities domestically. And now to sport. Former winner Spain took a massive step towards qualifying for the 2026 World Cup with a convincing victory in Georgia. Luis de la Fuente's side are 3 points clear with one match remaining in Group E, and only a 7-goal loss at home to second-placed Turkey on Tuesday will deny Spain automatic qualification. Spain, the 2010 world champions, continued their dominant qualifying campaign and only needed 11 minutes before they scored their first goal. And this was, of course, through a penalty following a handball. So the final score in that match, Spain 4, Georgia 0. And now for a recap of the top stories making the news at this hour. PNP makes urgent appeal to address garbage pileup across the country. NSWMA says over 700 truckloads of solid waste removed from the Catherine Hall and West Green areas in Montego Bay, St. James. Agricultural Protection Branch APB of the JCF arrested and charged 3 persons, including a woman, during an operation in Porous, Manchester on Friday. You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. News is next at 5 tomorrow afternoon. Good afternoon.